aren't necessarily even Christian,
right,
are the very same as the Christian church I grew up in. The only difference being that the Christian church I grew up in believed in the Bible and thought these things came from the Bible and from Jesus and things that he brought about. But what I've learned is you don't need the Bible and you don't need Jesus to have all the same moral and ethical beliefs.
Right.
What's your cut on that, having come from a Southern Baptist?
Well, Jesus was really just reiterating some of the thoughts of the earlier religions and philosophies anyway. It's always been good to teach respect for your neighbor, love for your neighbor, treat your neighbor as yourself. Confucius said it. It's a core tenet of Buddhism and Taoism.
Larry, elaborate on what Confucius said. I think that's important for all
he said, I think, I'm not sure of the exact wording, but instead of saying, do unto others what you would have them do unto you, he said, don't do unto others what you would not have them do unto you. And I think that's really more to the point.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, Ted, there are members of our organization, and I think they're also members of the local Unitarian community, who do go out and do good things in the community that help people who have had family tragedies. So they serve the same social function that the churches do, because it's a human function. It's not given to us by some invisible being who plants it into us. This is something that has evolved into us because living creatures that live in a social environment have to look out for one another.
I've always felt that you can take the good that churches do and religions do and keep the good and get rid of the bad. This dogma where the other religions are bad and that you're born a dirty sinner and several other things that are in the churches, we need to leave that behind us. It's history. It's not serving us anymore. The good that, the respect for the neighbor, treat each other. These are common core tenets of humanity. We can keep those, and we can even build churches around them like the UU Church does. I think that's a great idea.
Well, caller, have you got any further questions for you? Otherwise, we'd like to make sure that other people get a chance to call in.
No, I don't have any further questions, although I've been very interested in hearing your comments. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking to us.
Bye-bye. We do only have one line, so we can't keep it busy very long.
All right. Well, Larry, I guess I might mention the upcoming, the second Sunday of every month we do this book club. And this happens at the Barnes & Noble, just a block or so west of Westtown Mall. We meet at about 4 o'clock and we discuss for 2 hours to about 6 o'clock, and then afterwards many of us go out to dinner together. We've read some very interesting books at the book club. One of my favorite was Richard Dawkins' The God Delusion. We did Christopher Hitchens' book, You Don't Have... Goodness, I've lost Christopher Hitchens' book. It was... Oh, well.
He has some good books out there. Read them all.
Last week we did Idiot America. It was How Stupid Became a Virtue in the Land of the Free. Which emphasizes the fact that we want to learn how to be educated citizens so that we got an incoming call. Okay. And as educated citizens, we'll be electing better leaders.
Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Tell us your name.
My name's Jeff.
Hello, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Fine. What's your question?
Well, I don't know if it's particularly a question or not. Maybe just a point of discussion. I'm kind of new to the atheist community. I was a Southern Baptist, and it just all happened so naturally. It's unreal how the pieces just fell into place. Mm-hmm. But what I was going to touch on was that how people when they I'm in the closet, I guess,
Mm-hmm. We understand. And, that's why we're here, to make sure people understand. You don't have to believe in God to be good,
and you don't have to be alone, because we have.
No. It's like people look at you so differently if they know. People that you think are your friends,
right.
people you think are pretty open-minded, they almost feel like they need to help you. And I feel so free, and I feel, I feel like some of these people that want so bad to help me, they don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I became an atheist because I was trying to get closer to God. Not because
that happens a lot.
Not because of all the stereotypes that people say, like you just want to do bad things and not have consequences, or you hate God or something. I don't even know what that means.
Right? How can you hate someone that doesn't exist?
That you don't believe in? Yes.
Yeah.
You just can't be yourself. You can't. And people will hate you because you're being honest with yourself and saying, I don't know, and I have questions, and I just can't keep buying into things that I don't believe anymore.
Right.
And people don't admire that. They're critical of that.
What would they have you do? Just say you believe, even though you don't? Would that satisfy them? I mean,
that's almost how it is around here. And that's probably how 75% of the Christians are anyway. It's an insurance policy. It's a Pascal's wager.
Fire insurance.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's fire insurance. And so I felt like that I've gone beyond that. I've kind of stepped out of the line, and started thinking for myself. And it's instead of people are just so critical of that, and nobody even knows the answers anyway. And to be honest with yourself and to say I don't know, and to get out of that, and it's weird.
Right.
Well, that's why we're here, is to provide a little bit of community for you. I invite you to come to some of our activities, and I'd like to hear about how your story a little more, how you were trying to get closer to God, and how that played out for you.
Well, that's great. That sounds nice.
The Atheist Society of Knoxville is feeless. In other words, we don't charge fees for you to join. You can even join under an alias if you'd like to. Just get on our mailing list. The Rationalists.
I've been to your meeting one time. I went to a meeting at the marina.
Okay.
Had a few beers and had a really good time talking with everyone.
Well, good.
Well, that's great. Let's give everyone those websites. The Atheist Society of Knoxville, their website is knoxvilleatheist.org. That's knoxatheist.org. I guess we got it behind us through the magic of television. And then we have the Rationalists of East Tennessee. And I'm a terrible speller. I usually spell rationalists incorrectly, but it's .org. And you can learn, there's calendars there where you can learn about our activities. And the interesting books that we'll be discussing, or presentations that will be coming up. Well, let's see if we got time for one more caller. Jeff, thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with the show.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
One more call, 5 minutes.
We'd love to have a caller here to help us finish out the evening. I think the caller mentioned Pascal's wager. That's an interesting thing. Larry, if I didn't know what Pascal's wager is, what is that?
Well, usually a believer will come to you and say, what if you're wrong? What if you find out, what if you die and you meet God and you're wrong and it's a Christian God? They usually don't say that because it's an assumption.
It's an assumption. In other words, if I said, well, what if it's Osiris?
Or Thor.
Or Thor. And of course, as I related earlier in the program, it actually came up in one of the RAT discussions. We asked, well, so what if we die and we discover? And I talked about how I was so off track with my question.
Another thing is, we really don't believe that there's a God. I mean, it's our core being. We don't believe it. It's not pretend. You would have us just say, we do pretend. In other words, you'd say that God is stupid, that he wouldn't know.
That's right.
You know?
If he can read your mind and read prayers, wouldn't he know that you're trying to pull the wool over his eyes?
Right. And you couldn't just believe in God. You'd also have to take on the whole religious package. And in Christianity, that would also mean believing in angels, demons, Satan, hell.
Witches. Don't forget witches.
Witches, heavens, sin. We don't believe in sin. Sin is a trespass against God. If there's no God, there's no sin. But we can't hurt each other. We can harm each other easily, and we don't believe in doing that.
And evil in the world is real, and so is good. These are the things that we want to promote.
Right.
And unfortunately, religion can because it's a combination of historical things that are maybe interesting stories, but just plain sometimes mistakes, and we can't just accept those mistakes on blind faith.
Right. And the core of Pascal's argument is that if you believe in God and you're wrong, you haven't lost anything if he's not real. But if you don't believe in God and he is real, then you got to go to hell. But the thing about it is, you have lost something if you worship him and he's not real. You've wasted a good portion of your life. You've attended devotional rituals at church, praying, given your money to the church all of your life. You've spent time talking about religious matters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, how much time do you spend in religious matters if you're a Christian or a religious person? I don't mean to be just on Christianity.
All right. I was listening to one of the podcasts from the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and they were interviewing Julia Sweeney, and she mentioned she grew up in a Catholic tradition, but lost faith. She has a wonderful story about that, which I believe is maybe a movie in production. And she talked about how if she hadn't learned religion when she was younger, she might have become a scientist when she was growing up. She, as an adult, she talked about having now read about science, and in fact, there she was, a former comedian from Saturday Night Live, actually talking about physics and cosmology and things that are right up my interest, that have been up my interest all my life, and I could really feel for her this sense of lost time, having given that up for what amounts to, at times, maybe interesting, but they're not much, they're fairy tales.
I have a friend who told me that their daughter was going to college, and I said, "Oh, great! Which one?" And then she said it was Liberty University.
I take it that's a religious university.
I think it's a Roberts' University. I'm not really sure.
Okay,
but
Roberts,
it's a very religious school. She will probably get a decent education. I've heard some good things about Liberty, but you can be sure that she will not get any good education in biology or evolution,
cosmology,
cosmology, physics. Because their core beliefs are that God just poofed it all into being, and there's no reason to study the Big Bang or any of that. Matter of fact, the Pope recently said that we shouldn't study the Big Bang.
Yes, that was not an appropriate thing for scientists to be interested in.
Nope.
Yet in my lifetime, we have learned that the universe around us is not merely expanding, but that the rate of expansion is expanding. And that was one of these wonderful things that shocked the physics and astronomy community during just my lifetime.
Right.
We really are living in the golden age of knowledge.
Yeah. It was in 1924 that Hubble found out that there was more than one galaxy in the universe.
That's right. There are people alive today that when they were born, our understanding of the universe around us was tiny by comparison to what it is now.
15 seconds.
All right. Well, we would like to leave you with a few thoughts.
Ask and RT are secular humanist organizations made up of people of all ages and interests. We get together because we like humans and do not. Anyway, this is Freethought Forum. My name is Larry Rhodes.
Okay. And I'm Faithless Forrest.
And our thanks to Joe, Jonas, and Sam for technical help, and to the staff of CTV for all of our callers.
All right. And we wish you a safe and happy Tuesday evening. And see us next week at this same time.